A very good morning and a warm welcome to all the students of Political Science class 11th here to the online classes. I hope you all are fit and healthy at your homes, but now it's time to put up all your efforts towards studies as due to this unusual circumstances of COVID-19 around the world, as you know, has brought an imbalance in your day-to-day life activities. So now it's time to start your studies as we are already late with the syllabus. Today I am going to start the first chapter of our part A, that is Indian Constitution at Work. That is your first book. After every lecture I shall be assigning you certain questions based on the topic which we have covered. Okay, so you have to do those questions in your political science notebook, which you have to do it very neatly, and also you have to submit those questions on the given submission date on time. So here, before I move forward to start the first chapter of your part A, Indian Constitution at Work, I would like to give you a short introduction of the books which we shall be covering this year in your syllabus. So, Political Science class 11th, part A, the book name is Indian Constitution at Work. In this, we shall be taking all the topics in context to India, and particularly we shall be understanding what is Constitution and what are the functions of Constitution and what is the past and present and future of Constitution in a country like India. So the first topic you will say Constitution, why and how, which topic we shall be starting today, and the next chapter shall be rights in the Indian Constitution, about your fundamental rights and fundamental duties, about the type of elections and what are your representations in that, and then we shall be studying about the three organs of our government, as you have already read in class 9th and 10th: executive, legislature, judiciary. Although all the topics you have already learned, you are very familiar with these topics, but in class 11th we shall be doing in it details, and practically you will be understanding the importance of each and every topic in this particular book, that is Indian Constitution at Work. Then you will be understanding the meaning and uses of federalism in a country like India. Then chapter 6 will be your local government, and last chapters will be your Constitution as a living document, why we call it as a living document, and the philosophy of Constitution. So all these chapters and topics we shall be taking up in your first part, that is Indian Constitution at Work. Then your second part or the second book will be political theory. In that, in detail I shall be taking it later on. Just now I've just written few concepts which shall be reading in this particular book, that is freedom, equality, justice, rights, citizenship, nationalism, secularism, peace and development. These are some of the concepts we shall be taking up in details and how they are relevant to our lives in a country like democratic country like in India. So today we are going to start the first chapter, that is Constitution, why and how. So we can say that now in this particular book, Indian Constitution at Work, we shall be mostly studying about the working of the Indian Constitution, and in this particular chapter, that is Constitution, why and how, we shall be reading about the information about the various aspects of the working of our Constitution, and you will also learn about various institutions of the government in our country and their relationship with each other. And before you begin to read about elections, governments, presidents, prime ministers and their functions, it is very necessary for you to understand that the entire structure of government and the various principles that bind the institution of government have their origin in the Constitution of India. Since they have their origin in the Constitution of India, so it is very important to understand the complete functioning and the structure of Constitution first of all, before we start the studies of structure of government. So after studying this particular chapter, you will be able to understand what is a Constitution and what does it mean, what a Constitution does to the society, what are its functions, how Constitution governed the allocation of power in the society, and what was the ways in which the Constitution of India was made. So these will be some of the points which you will be very much clear after reading and understanding this chapter. So you need to read these notes properly, which I have written for you. But after reading these notes and understanding them, it is very important for you to go through your NCERT book. You have to read each and every line properly of your NCERT book at your home after reading my notes. So now I'm going to start your chapter. So the first question which arises at the very beginning of this particular chapter, Constitution, why and how, I would like to make you very much clear about the meaning of the Constitution. As in your previous classes, class 9, 10th, you have already known the meaning of Constitution. It is a set of rules, or we can say it's a rule book according to which a government or a state or any organization functions. But talking here, I would like to give you certain definition which you should know in class 11th as a student of political science. So meaning of constitution, I have written two short definitions here. A body of fundamental principle. So constitution, we can say it's a body of fundamental principles or established precedents. Precedents, we can say already existing norms or provisions in the constitution according to which a state or any organization is acknowledged to be governed. So these are some fundamental principles, rules, regulation, norms according to which any organization or any state is acknowledged to be governed and functioned. So this is the first definition. Second definition is bit simpler for you and you can understand it properly. A constitution is a written set of laws and fundamental principles to develop a relationship between the people and the government, which comprises a number of articles about the state. So before moving forward, I would like to give you a small example so that you can make it very clear in your mind what do we mean by constitution. You have to be very practical about studying political science. To understand constitution, you just keep in mind it's a rule book, like in your family, in your school, or in your any sort of friendship group or any sort of group in a community, in a religious community. We need some rules or some fundamental principles according to which that particular group can be governed and function properly. Like in a family, take an example of a family. There are some where your parents are like your mother take all the decisions of your family. In some families your father might be dominant and he might be taking all the important decisions regarding the functioning of a family, different functions of the family. So we can say there is always a supreme head according to which a family or any organization is controlled and ruled. So as a member of a family, you have certain functions, your sister has certain functions, your mother knows what work she has to do at home, your brother knows what functions and what work he is assigned to do. So these are the management which your father is seeing of your family. In the same way, constitution as a rule book is functioning and taking care of the whole country and how the country is to be governed, who are to be given the powers, who are the ones to take the decisions in a particular situation and particular places. So this is the work of the constitution. Same is with your school. Suppose and imagine your school without any rules and regulations. No student will be known that at what time what they have to do. So because there are rules and regulation in the school, everyone knows their works and functions. Teachers know what they have to do, principal ma'am knows what she has to do, what are her authorities, coordinator ma'am knows what are her authorities, and as a class monitor and like captains and white captains, sports captains, everyone has different functions and responsibilities. So this is the functions of a rule book, that each and everyone knows what are their powers, what are their authorities, what are the areas of their functioning. So it is very important for a country like India, which has so much of large diversity in terms of linguistic, caste, place of birth, language, and we can say food habits, clothing, geographical areas. There is so much of diversity, but still people are living here with unity because of the constitution, because they have accepted some basic rules which are written in the constitution, and they are the fundamental principles which everyone has to follow, and we have accepted it. And there is no discrimination on the basis of caste, language, religion, etc. Okay. So after understanding the meaning and definition of constitution, I have explained with the help of certain examples. I hope you have understood the meaning of constitution here. But now the very first topic which comes up to us in this particular chapter, and the question is, why do we need a constitution? So this can be a dead question also in your exam. Why do we need a constitution? Or in the other way, this question can be, what are the functions of the constitution? as after the understanding the meaning of the constitution, why we need this constitution. As I have already given you certain examples, you must have understood, but here there are 5 functions which you have to remember. One by one I am taking up. This is the first one, and you have to remember all the 5 important functions of the constitution. So the first function of the constitution, that we are using it, we are governing ourselves according to a constitution in a country like India. First function is constitution allows coordination and assurance. These 2 terms, coordination and assurance, because without the constitution there would be lot of confusion and there would be lot of conflict among people of a community or a country like India, where is so much of diversity. If I talk in terms of religion, age, gender, profession, languages, and even your geographical areas. If in terms of India, you see the north people, south people, east people, and the western states all have different culture in themselves in terms of language, clothing, food habits, everything. So in a country like India, there is a importance of constitution because it allows coordination and assurance among the different sort of people, bringing them together, promoting unity. Okay, that's why it's written here. First point is people from different religion, age, gender and profession come together. They are coming together, they are showing unity and brotherhood. They are living in a single country like India with so much of diversity, just because of the constitution. Because this constitution is providing the coordination and assurance to all the people, irrelevant of their caste, language or religion, that they shall be given equal importance as a citizen of India according to the constitution. Whether they are of any religion, any age, any gender, any profession, they all shall be given coordination and assurance. Then there is coordination assurance to them is the same thing. All the people around India agree on basic rule. There are some basic fundamental rules to which all the people agree. Those rules are called basic fundamental rules, known to all the members, and they are enforceable. If no one is following them, they are enforceable legally. For example, you can take the example of a classroom or society. In society which you are living, there are so many people and no one is similar to each other. In terms of religion also, they are different, castes are different, age are different genders, they are following different profession, but still they are living in the same society peacefully. They are coordinating with each other, supporting each other. So many years have been passed after the independence of our country, and our constitution has been very successful in bringing people together and promoting brotherhood, peace and development in our country. So in our classroom also there is a situation, all the students are not the same, all have different characteristics belonging to different backgrounds, and they have different personalities, but still as in the classroom they are able to study together because there are some rules and regulation which bind them together. In the same way, constitution is that rule book which bind all the people of the society together with some fundamental basic rules. So that's why I've written a question here: what will enable group to live together peacefully? What is that one thing which enable a group to live together peacefully? It is constitution, which help people to cooperate with each other, because no one in the society feels like they are disturbed or they are discriminated on the basis of gender or caste or religion or profession. That is the reason all live together peacefully. So in short, we can say the first function of the constitution is to provide a set of basic rule. The constitution's first function is it provides a set of basic rule that allows a minimal coordination amongst members of a society. Because of this set of basic rules, there is a coordination among the members of the society. Okay, so this is the first function. Now moving forward to the second functions of the constitution. What is the second important function of the constitution and why we need the constitution? It's written specification of decision making power. This is the second important and very important function of the constitution. There is it specifies which organ has the decision making power? In what matters who will have the authority to make decisions, and in which matters who will be able to make particular decisions? So first point is, constitution is a body of fundamental principle based on which rules are formulated, state is constituted and governed. Okay, it specifies the basic allocation of power in a society. So constitution only specifies the basic allocation of power, who is having what kind of powers in the society, the division of power. Okay, it specifies, constitution is only the body which specifies who has the power to make decisions in the society. Because in our family also and school also, there is very much clear that if you are misbehaving in the class, or you are misbehaving in the assembly, or you are not doing good in the studies, you are not coming to school, in different misbehaving, you will be have the different person who will be taking up to you on, or we can say there will be different level of authority in the school. The division of power is different, like for the principal ma'am, coordinator ma'am, teachers, your HODs, then your class monitors, your captains, vice captains. So there is a level of powers, or we can say authorities in the school. In the same way, through the constitution, there is a body of fundamental principles which specifies who has the power to make decisions in the society. So we can say the second function of a constitution is to specify who has the power to make decisions in the society. It gives the clear authority to a particular person or to a particular organization, in which matters who is the one to take the decisions in the society. It decides how the government will be constituted, and the constitution is the only document which also decides how the government will be constituted and who will be able to take the decisions at the different phases of time and place. Now the third important function of the constitution is limitation on the power of government. As we know, government plays a very important role in the functioning of the constitution, because government is the only body which is taking care of the functioning of the constitution. But it does not mean government has all the power and it can be unfair and unjust to the people. There are certain constraints and limitations put to the power of the government as well. As we know, citizens of India are given the fundamental rights which cannot be violated even by the government. So these are some of the, we can say, the limitations on the power of the government. As it is very important to give power to the government, because the government is the only one which is functioning our country according to the rules and regulations in the constitution. So it is also important to put some limits to the power of the government. If government prohibits you from practicing your religion, like at some point of time, if all the powers are given to the government can say, okay, there will be no religion like Hindu, or there will be no propagation of religion like Muslim or Christianity. This can be case in the future if all the powers are given in the hands of government. But there are some limitation put in on the powers of government by the constitution, so it cannot prohibit any religion to practice its religion, or it cannot prohibit or stop anyone from wearing clothes or certain color clothes. Okay, or government can also, like that you are not free to sing certain songs. Like government can also prohibit that certain group or certain religious group cannot sing certain sort of songs, or it can be unfair or unjust to any community or any group or around the country. So there are a lot of limits put to the power of the government. So there is a proper functioning of the constitution which is based on the democratic functioning or the political system of India, where each and every individual is equal in front of the law. So we can say the third function of a constitution is to set some limits on what a government can impose on its citizen. So constitution puts some limits what a government can impose on its citizen. The limits of the fundamental in the sense that the government can never trespass them. So there are some rules and regulations, fundamental rights are given to the citizens of India which cannot be trespassed even by the government. And the fourth important function is aspiration and goals of a society. As a citizen of India, each citizen or each individual has some aspiration, desires, goals, wishes which he expects from its country. Once he accepts all the fundamental principles and rules of the constitution, A citizen also aspires to fulfill all the goals and desires from the society. So first point is to fulfill the aspirations of the society and create conditions for a just society. So this is a function of the constitution, that it helps all the citizens to fulfill all their aspires and also create a condition for just society based on the equality. There should be no unjust behavior or unfair behavior or discrimination in the society based on the religion, caste, color, creed, etc. So there should be a just society in which all the aspirations and desires of the citizens are fulfilled, but under following the rules and regulations and principles, norms of the constitution. Like older constitutions limits themselves largely to allocating decision making powers and setting some limits to government power. Previously in 19th century, all the constitutions were limited only to allocating, they only focused on decision making power, like who will be the one to take decisions, and they were also busy in setting the limits to government powers, how they can limit the power of the government. But when we moved forward to the 20th century, there we could see a positive change which constitution saw towards the positive gain and to improve the quality or the lifestyle of the people, in which they could fulfill all their needs and demands. So in the 20th century constitution, of which India constitution is the finest example. So we can say of the 20th century, India is the finest and the best examples, as constitution empowers the government, gives the power to government to take positive. Here now government is taking the positive measures to overcome forms of inequality and deprivation. Previously the government was only functioning and looking after the who has the decision making power and how to limit the power of the government. But in the 20th century constitution like India had certain amendments in which they looked forward towards the positive measures of the constitution, and they formed certain rules and regulations and norms to eradicate inequality and deprivation between the citizens of the country. It can be like we can say male female differences, or we can say untouchability. These are some of the differences which our society was having. So now constitution has been working towards empowering women and eradicating caste based differences. Also in 20th century, the preamble, fundamental rights, directory principles of state policy also enjoy government to fulfill certain aspirations of people. So these are the concepts, we can say preamble, fundamental right, directory principles of the state policy. They help the individual to aspire and fulfill their desires in the society. So we can say the fourth function of a constitution is to enable the government to fulfill the aspiration of the society and create condition for a just society based on equality. So the fourth function, important function of the constitution is to provide the government those power and those positive powers to which government can look forward to improve the condition of the citizens and give them the just society in which they can grow even further with equality, eradicating all the differences among the people based on the caste, language or gender. So now the fifth and the important function of the constitution is fundamental identity of a people. So if you talk of a particular citizen, as we are, we have two identities, political identity and moral identity. As a citizen, we know, if I will tell you to introduce yourself, you will tell your name, you will tell your father's name, your family, your religion, your community you come from, or your religious group. Then you will tell me your state, like you tell I'm from Uttarakhand, I'm from Punjab, I'm from Haryana, or then you will say I'm an Indian. So in terms of constitution, if we say we have a political identity and that political identity is just we are Indians. If you go to some foreign country or outside India, you will be just called Indian. No one will know you by your religion, by your state name, by your family background, by your community, but they will only know you there as Indian. There are some moral identities like your family background, your community, your religion. These are also important, but once it comes to fundamental identity, you will be only known by the political identity which is given to you by the constitution, that is you are Indian. So this means that people as a collective identity. Here all the people living in India, irrespective of their caste, religion, language, or whatever community group they come from, their profession, they have a collective identity, and that collective identity is they are Indian, which is given to them through basic constitution. It is by agreeing, because here people agree to a basic set of norms about how one should be governed, that one forms a collective identity. All have agreed to the basic set of rules and regulations which constitution has given them, because they have been treated as equal as each and everyone in the society. So they all agree to it and they form a collective identity as Indians. One has many sets of identity, as I have explained you. If you talk about moral identities, we have many sets of identities that exist prior to constitution. Prior to constitution, we have many identities like our family background, community, religion. But once it comes to constitution, we have a political identity, and that political identity is we are Indians. But by agreeing to certain basic norms and principles, one constitutes one basic political identity. Okay, so we are Indians. So these are the important 5 functions of the government, of the constitution, which you have to study properly, and it can be a direct question in your exams also, that I told you why do you need a constitution and what are the functions of the constitution. Why it is so important to have a constitution in a country like especially in India, where there is so much of diversity. It is very difficult to handle a small family if there are no rules and regulation. A small school without rules would be a mess up. But to function in a country like India with so much of diversity, and it is so successful, this constitution, so you need to study these functions properly. In the next part, I will be taking the further topics of this chapter. Till then, thank you, and I shall be assigning you certain questions based on this topic. You should have to submit them properly in your fair notebook. Thank you.